Thank you, everybody. My name is Georgio Salos, coordinator of the GZIG Association. I am here to present this presentation about new needs in knowledge management and use a new concept for training and capacity building for smart territorial embedding. So you can see in this, also from this title, there is many issues that we can consider around this important point. So I have organized this presentation with the territorial context and the challenges for capacity building. Then something about the approach that our association has created around these issues, in particular for an integrated training framework and best practice, how to exploit best practice in the context of capacity building. If some of you have participated yesterday at the SMESPIRE workshop, you will find some slides in this part. I apologize for that, but this will give the dimension of how it is important to clustering across the different initiatives for reaching capacity building. Then, linking to the BRISEIDE, the second part of my presentation will deal with the BRISEIDE training framework and the BRISEIDE training action that all of you are invited if you are interested on that. So let's start from the territorial context. So if we can see also the title of this workshop from smart city to smart territory, so we can consider that talk about a smart city in some way in the wide context is a bit limited because, for example, in many cases, large metropolitan areas are spread wide. With comprising, for example, rural and semi-natural parts. Communication networks and big infrastructure are human landmarks that affect a large part of the territory, not only in the cities as well. So natural events and the need for an efficient risk management have to consider the wide territorial dimension because, of course, for example, flood in the city are affected from the countryside environment. So, also for human behavior, like tourism or other things, the city itself is in some way have to consider in a wide perspective because tourists go in the city but are also interested in the surrounding of the city and so on. So the territorial vision should be from the city to the territory in a more extensive way. So the need for changing the paradigm is strongly supported by the geographical knowledge that allow to also to select the proper detail and the granularity of each specific case and the user requirement for that. And in this context, this vision of smart territory is strongly supported by the European directive, INSPIRE as first, but also the many environmental directives that all of them have very important spatial components. So the challenges that we can see here is that the territorial vision is receive help from the INSPIRE standardization process, and on the other hand, is strongly required to comply with environmental and planning regulation and processes. We consider as well that new technology, now starting from WebGIS, location-based service, support as well this wide territorial vision that enable more and more efficient and profitable universal use of geoinformation itself. In this process, users of geographic information rapidly change from professional and practitioner user to all the citizens, that universal audience that involving for different the citizen itself for a diversity use of the different aspect of geographic information and application. So in this situation, networking, clustering of different initiatives, sharing of experience of different stakeholders, and training are crucial aspects for increasing the capacity building of all the interested stakeholders. So that is the starting point for where we consider how to make instrument for increasing this capacity building. In particular, if we look at training, we see that we have experience that training is strongly needed related to the new European directives related to geographic information, INSPIRE, the SACE Shared Environment Information System Initiative, GMS, Public Sector Information, Water Framework Directive, and so on. The training is also important when we are working in European projects, and we can benefit from the training for working properly inside the consortium, and on the other hand, to use training to transfer the result of the project to a wider audience, as is the case now in BRISED that I will present later on in the second part. And so new technology, we already speak that, and we have created in some way a training framework that will embed all these aspects in some way. Indeed, as GSIG, that is the European Association for Innovation and Technology Transfer in Geographic Information, we have promoted a activity line about educational training. And we, in this context, we have exploited the lessons that we get from many projects we have participated in the last few years, and that allow us to cover different aspects of thematic areas like coast management, network conservation, water resource management, and so on. And we have in this context, we have already many organizations that are registered in the different areas, and so that the network of stakeholders is going on as an important component of this vision. So, more specifically, when we speak about training for the European policies and directives, we have considered an integrated approach. If we look at the different directives or initiatives, GMS, INSPIRE, SACE, Water Framework Directive, we can see that we have some common elements like data harmonization, data specification, service provision, and many projects as effort contribute in this direction. We speak about the project Humboldt, for example, Nature Plus, NESIS, that was recently ended, and the BRISED that is coming to the conclusion in the next few months, as Federico said before. All of that we consider to exploit all this as a result of this project, and in the future also on other projects, according to a so-called training infrastructure that we built up as in the context of the Leonardo da Vinci project VestaGIS, that in some way allow to look at how to make instrument for training in this context. In the similar way, under the Water Framework Directive, another Leonardo da Vinci project called Eleanor allow us to create a catalog of training course in the context of water management. So when we speak about the training framework, we are considering learning at first, and we consider how to organize the training within European projects. So in each European project, we consider a work package of tasks that are dealing with this training framework. That is included a training package for the training about the background knowledge behind the content of the different project, and the training about the project result. And that is the case of many projects that have been listed before, and the future projects that we have also in mind. Altogether, related to the infrastructure, the training infrastructure that is based on course catalog, course metadata, and learning path, that I explained better this, and based on a learning platform. So far, we have about a portfolio of 56 modules, and we have about more than 500 registered organizations that registered to access to this training module so far. And they are going to increase now in the coming months as well. Some more detail about the concept of the training framework. The training framework is structured in a training package that contains the contents of the training offers, method information, and how to access to the different modules. The learning platforms that are anyway distributed in where the courses are available in GZIG, but also in other platforms. And then the training material that is structured in different levels according to the need of the various projects and so on. And each level is included different modules. The learning platform itself is constitution the infrastructure that hosts the training model and the material. Is established on open source learning tools, allow the registration from the project member and to the user community to this to the different modules. And when the users subscribe to this training framework, can select the different courses that are interested to attend in some way. The training materials, if you access that, you can find presentation with voices, screencasts, plain test lectures, exercises. And also for organizations that intend to use this instrument inside their organization, there is also the possibility tool for looking to have a tutor of to organize a classroom and have a tutoring of the different the progress of the training of the different students and how the different modules are followed by the different person that subscribe. If this is an option, could be applied for organization of structured training action in some way. So just a few words about the catalog. There is, I told you that we have 56 right now modules in the catalog itself. For each course there is a metadata. This is, for example, the course of data harmonization that is from Professor Hosman that is present here, by the way. You can see for each course the description, the knowledge offered, in this case basic concepts, principle of basic data harmonization operations, schema matching and mapping, intended audience, if there is prerequisite to attend these courses, and the language that is also important as well. According to this portfolio of modules, it's possible to create a training path according to the different user profile or customize according to specific needs. According to this training path, is possible to organize a training action support, online training action supported by online tools. I will explain what we have in mind now for Briseide. How we intend to further develop this concept of training framework. This will be enlarged in the coming months also with a new initiative. For example, yesterday we presented the training framework for the project SME-Spire, that is a network for supporting the SME participation in the Spire implementation process and so on. This schema is being discussed with CHEN TC287, and we have established a liaison with GSIG and the CHEN to support a reference portal for training material of the GI European project. And also we are participating in the working group training education for supporting the adoption of innovative learning technology and methodology and the use of learning tools in the geographic information. Another important aspect, if we consider training and capacity building, is training and good practice. Exchange of experience, indeed, and learning from good practice is an important element for subject for training. Indeed, in the catalog of the training course, you will have also accessibility to structure access to good practice example. Networks are natural environment in which to exploit good practice, both for collection and exploitation. The important is to structure the element of good practice. So we normally collect structure information according to good practice, different type of good practice, and the creation of a catalog of good practice on the specific domains. The aims of that is to derive lessons from the good practice and exchange experience, and exploit that with a synthesis of information of good practice, well organized and with a structured catalog. Example of good practice are the good practice coming from the NATO the Plus project and the for practice in natural conservation data management, and the NESIS good practice catalog for practice in environment data management. Just to give the flash what you can find there, for example, for the NESIS good practice, you have a structured information there, and then you will have 44 good practices of different countries. In this sense, about monitoring, reporting, organization setup, infrastructure creation, system integration, data harmonization, and so on, in different environment thematic themes: air, land use, water, soil, forest, and so on. So that is a good patrimony to look at the experience of your colleague. In the same way, we have 38 good practices for network conservation in the other catalog. Okay, coming now on the Briseide specifically, we have the training framework of Briseide. As Federico spoke about this, we have Briseide have the time-aware extension, application in particular for civil protection, and added value service for spatial temporal data management. So the training framework of Brizide is structured now in 3 levels. The background knowledge itself with training module about risk management, metadata tools for metadata creation, data harmonization, geostandard, basic of web service, the Inspire directive. If we look at for example, a module risk management that could be interesting for you, there is an element that defines what means risk. So natural events and the element of risk and the hazard and the damage about that, about, for example, landslides and about earthquakes. There is the modules about risk management action, forecasting, prevention, and then the emergency management, damage assessment, emergency mitigation, and so on, and then the risk management methods. The second level is more on the results of the Brizide, the work made in Brizide. We have a training module about multi-temporal data and development of spatial temporal service, assessment and evaluation of the Brizide system, user and integration of the Brizide systems. For example, as Federico told, what is Brizide, you will find training about what we have developed in Brizide with for example, a component about the introduction to spatial temporal analysis, the Brizide system architecture, and the component of the service created in Brizide itself. The third level of the training modules are related to the application, and that there is training module about the different pilot planned in Brizide, as Federico showed before. Now, we spoke about the training path. In Brizide, we define 2 training paths, mainly. One for the decision maker and one for the system developers. And we have proposed in this flexible way some modules for this training path. For example, for the decision maker, basic of web service, Inspire directive, use and integration of the Brizide system, the Brizide application, and assessment or the evaluation of Brizide systems, with some optional modules if could be interested for this, the different decision maker. And the second about the developers, the multi-temporal data and development of spatial temporal service, use of integration of the Brizide system, the Brizide application, assessment evaluation of the Brizide system with other optional models for tools, metadata, and so on. So how we intend to organize these training actions? So we are going to set up a website for constitution of the classroom and with registration. We have an initial training section online to explain all the actions, and we have a self-learning phase that is remotely assistance. We have then an interim workshop online to assess the first part of the result, and then we have a conclusion workshop. So this action will start in July, and all of you are invited to register looking at the website of Brizide. About training, you have here it's very easy to subscribe on the different courses and looking at the training path, and then that's all. So, thank you very much.